Umar, should we make a slow start or what do you suggest? We wait for 2 minutes.
Yeah, we'll start at 7:05.
We'll start in 1 minute. Okay, let's start. Students, can I get a thumbs up if I am audible very clearly or not? Okay, so I am audible. Good. Okay. So we want to obviously first discuss some of the tips that we had discussed yesterday. As usual, I have put them into one of the slides. Then we will discuss Python with NumPy, Python and Pandas, and then SQL. And tomorrow is statistics. Same as per our plan, we are going exactly the same way. Now, to start with, the tips for working with Python. Yesterday, we discussed three of the major types of databases: RDBMS, NoSQL, SQLite, right? The major categorization is only RDBMS and NoSQL. And I told you to, Google and check out relationships, acid principles, cap theorem, Bayes, and so on. Do check that. Ours is a short course, so I can't cover everything, but I'll give you some pointers in that sense. Then we discussed CRUD, which was create, read, update, delete, right? We discussed RDBMS. We compared it with Excel sheets in 2D, tables just like worksheets, SQL, select, delete, update, create. I got a lot of questions on SQL, so I thought I will cover a little bit of SQL today. I was not originally planning to cover it, but we'll cover it. NoSQL does not follow SQL structured query language. No set structure. Sometimes it has structure, but not like RDBMS, obviously. So we discussed about graphs, key value pairs, documents, JSON and XML, columnar for analytics, and so on. And we discussed a little bit of SQLite yesterday, right? So that was our yesterday's thing. Now let's start with NumPys today. Let me also start my account. So see, firstly, after I share my screen, let me know if my screen is visible. Right. Okay. So when we start with NumPy, we had used some of the functions yesterday, which were related to arrange and so on, right? We used some of those functions. So it is called as numerical Python, right? Where we try to process arrays and it provides you with mathematical functions, linear algebra routines, and so on, right? So those kind of things. So these are all very useful, this and pandas, for working with data sets and so on. So let's see some, there is a lot of things in this, but what I will try to do is, obviously I can't cover everything, but I will at least try to cover arrays, some basics of arrays. I will cover um, some amount of array manipulation. I will also cover matrix, and from there, some mathematical functions. So at least see this much, right? The reshaping and all we won't see today, otherwise we'll not be able to finish, right? So let's see Python NumPy. So um, firstly, what is an array, right? So we already have list and tuple and all these things. Why do we again need another type of data type or within NumPy or outside and so on? So arrays are typically for similar types of content. If you look at it, um, you are storing roll numbers, let's say, right? Um, then all of them will be integers, right? So that way, when you are storing similar type of content, especially integers and so on, you typically tend to use arrays, right? Now, how we are doing that? We are writing import numpy as np. We are writing np.array function, and we are storing 1, 2, 3 in it. Its rank is obviously 1. Here the rank is 2. We are storing 2 rows and 3 columns, sort of, right? 2 elements actually, with each with these things, right? And then we are creating and then printing it out, right? So let's create this and work with our um, ID. It's almost open. Just give me 1 minute. Yes. Let's take this and let's put it in our code for arrays. You can run it in Google Colab as well. They also have their own ID now, it seems. Let's see how it runs here. And let's also run it in our ID, right? So same concept. We have two elements here. Each element is having kind of another array inside it, and we are using function with array, right? Here it is single one. And this we are creating from a tuple. This is getting created from lists, right? Okay. Now let's see more examples. So typically, uh, we can also do slicing and other functions in arrays. Same concept of uh, slicing that we had used in the past, right? Um, for strings as well as lists, tuples, and so on, right? So let's take that up and let's slowly decipher it. So this is our initial array, right? -1, 2, 0, 4, 4, 0.5, 6, 0, 2.60, 7, 8, 3, -7, 4, and 2.0. We simply do print of ARR after doing np.arrays as initialization, and then we try to do slicing. Now, this is where slightly complicated things start, right? What we are doing is when you use colon, colon, see, remember, colon, colon, when you write twice, either you can reverse it, or if you write it with minus sign or with a positive focus, it will start to skip. Alternate columns is what it is going to do, right? So here in our case, we are writing colon 2, which tells us first two rows, and then it says colon, colon 2, which is alternate columns. So let's see what it has printed. -1, 0, 4, 4 point and 6, matlab 4 and 6. So -1, 4, 6, and 0. See. So first two rows and alternate columns. Now this is slightly complicated to understand. So let me repeat what I'm trying to put across. When you write colon 2, in the first one, it says which rows to pick up. So it has picked up first two rows, okay, from our array. When we say colon colon 2 from the front, which means not negative, it will pick up the first and third row. Let's see what it does with -2. Hopefully it should pick 402 minus 0.5. See, 402 minus 0.5. That is what it has picked up, right? That is what it is doing for us. Now, if you want to pick up specific indices in the sense, um, uh, at specific indices, you can do that as well, right? We'll see that in a minute once we see some simpler examples, and then we'll come back to these more difficult examples. Now let's do array operations. As I've been saying, please do not copy paste. Please try and work by typing when you are doing it on your own, because unless you make mistakes and you type on your own, you won't realize what the things are, right? Now, what is this one? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 stored here, 4, 3, 2, 1 stored in second one. What we are doing is when we write a plus 1 or b minus 2, from each of the elements, it adds a value. See, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here it does -2 subtraction. Then you do a dot sum, which gives you the sum of all the elements of a. Similarly, you do a plus b, it will perform binary operations on each of this. So 2 plus, what is b for us? Okay, so the original values, yes. 4 plus 1, 5, 2 plus 3, 5, 3 plus 2, 5, and 4 plus 1, 5. Can I get a thumbs up if everybody is understanding till here, or I need to repeat something? So from which file we have to open? So in day 4, is my voice not clear? Roshni is saying, can I get a thumbs up if voice is clear? Okay, so for others, it is clear. Now, Can I get quick thumbs up as to what I have explained till now? You have understood. Let me quickly recap. See, NumPy is no numerical Python. One of the major functions in it is, handling arrays, right? Arrays are of similar data type when we try to store, right? Float or integer and so on, or a mix of both, like we are doing here, correct? And we get multiple functions in it, right? Let's also see the functions like always. NP dot, you get these many functions in it. We are just using array and few other functions, right? A very long list of functions is available. From that, what we are trying to do is we are trying to do slicing. Like always, we are doing slicing, correct? In the sense, we try to take first two rows and then we take columns from the right to left, like we had discussed. So it will pick up first column and second, third column. That is what this colon colon does. Colon colon has two uses, either print in reverse or print alternatively, right? Alternate. So that's what we do. Here we are trying to pick up specific elements, right? I haven't discussed it yet, but elements at indices 1, 3. So 1, 3, is it picking up 6? 1, 3, 0. Correct. So see, here I said I'll discuss it in a minute. So let's discuss it. 1, 3 is the first element. So 0, 1. Then 0, 1, 2, 3. So it picks up 0. 1, 2, 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 6. 0, 1, 0 and 1. So 2. And lastly 3, 0. 3 and 0. So 3 is this and 0. So it prints 3, right? You have to start when you go from left to right or top to bottom, you start with 0. If you start from right to left, you start with 1, typically, right? In terms of indexes. So here all the indexes are positively defined. Now remember one thing. It is definitely confusing when you work with NumPy, and if there is no teacher present, at times this can be super confusing as to what is happening here, right? Because here with the same similar square bracket, we are slicing it, and here we are creating indices in two rows, right? 1, 3, 1, 2, 0, 1, 3, 0, right? Only difference is we are having double brackets here. So first time when you practice with it, it gets confusing even till to this date. Okay, that's why I said Charya says explain one more time. File, okay, Rajeshwar, where to open the file from? You go to LMS, and in LMS day 5, presentation is there. In that, the link is there. I will upload the file by tomorrow. I am picking up from the link of Geeks for Geeks, which is given in the presentation. Sharia, I will explain it again, but remember, it is slightly confusing to this date. I never, so one more thing which is very important, which I want to put across to all of you. See, I have programmed in Java, I have programmed in Python, little bit in C, C++, then I have programmed in R, I have programmed in little bit in Kotlin, and a few other languages as well, .NET and so on. Maximum in Java, but and then Python and R. But my point to you always is try to understand things and then work on it rather than trying to mug that up by heart. Don't try to mug up as to uh, what is the way. Better way is make a note of all these things that I am giving you and refer those notes as and when required. Because if you try to mug up all these things, it gets extremely difficult to follow, right? Because every language, if you learn Python and R only, every language, every library will have something specific or peculiar in it. Like NumPy has these peculiarities. R will have its own set of peculiarities. So then what happens? It gets into trouble. We get into trouble. But let me explain again. When you write a single square bracket, at that point of time, this denotes the row, this denotes the column. Okay. What I have written is colon 2, which means the first two rows, which means 0th row and second row, like this. And colon colon minus 2 means 4082, this row and this row, 1 and 3. Skip by 1. When you write minus 1, it starts from here and reverses. But when we write minus 2, that is typical behavior in Python. You start with first and skip one and then consider the third one as the next one. So in that sense, what happens is it picks up first two rows and in that 0 minus 0.540. That is why you see this getting printed. Sharia, is this clear to you? Okay. Similarly, here, when you write it in double bracket, right? When you write it in double bracket, what happens is um, um, uh, you get 1, 3, 1, 2, 0, 1, and 3, 0, right? You get 1, 3, 1, 2, 0, 1, and 3, 0. These are the elements we want to access. So 0, 1, 2, 3. There are four rows. Similarly, four columns. So 1 is this and 3 is this. So the first answer is 0 and so on. So that's what you need to remember. Till date, across all programming languages that I have programmed, except Java, when I was in right after my engineering, I mugged up a lot of Java because I kind of used to read it very regularly, but I don't do that anymore. The point is try to understand things and don't worry about remembering everything by heart, right? Next, we looked at doing +1, -2 on all the elements of the arrays, right? And then A dot sum, A plus B, and so on, right? Let's see a few other things. So now this is the data type checking. Let's do that. What is it doing? Let's see. So np.array 1, comma 2, integer data type, and then we do data type, right? Which means just print what data type it is. Then we do 1.0, 2.0, then we do 1.2, 1 dot comma 2, and then we do integer 64, and then try to print what is its data type. So first one is integer 32 by default. Second one is float 64. Next one is integer 64. Now, what does it mean? How much bits or bytes or in memory it is trying to occupy, right? That is what is denoted by these 32 and 64. Just like our processor, right? We get to know x64 architecture, x32 architecture. Same way here, how much space it is taking in memory, that is what is defined by 32 bit or 64 bit and so on, right? There is a lot more to this. Without going into too much depth immediately, I will give you some overview in Notepad or whether Paint will be better. Let's use Paint. Okay. So see, for all the ones who are non-computer science engineers or uh, others, there are some concepts that we need to be aware of. Decode, ASCII, then obviously app formats, assembly, and on the other side, and obviously 32-bit, 64-bit, and so on. And on the other side, the layers, right? So when you talk of the processor, it talks more or less in assembly or similar languages. which is mostly in lower level basic functions, mostly talks in binary. Mostly. It also uses some other addressing mechanisms and all, which is there, right? On top of it, see, I'm simplifying things for you just to explain. Where you sit is the application. Here you see formats like PDF, Excel, C, C++, Java, and so on. Such kind of extensions. Below it, there is another layer which I tend to explain, which is for characters and so on, Unicode, ASCII, and so on. We'll discuss that in a minute. And you also have something called as binary, hexadecimal, octal, and so on, decimal, which we are using. And it is part of both of these sort of, right? Now, why is this important to know? Because we just saw 32-bit, 64-bit addressing mechanisms and so on. Suppose I write any integer, let's say 21. It gets converted into a set of zeros and one. I'm not converting exactly, I'm just randomly writing any number, right? So this is called as binary. It has its rules of conversions in mathematics. This is decimal. Similarly, we have octal and we have hexadecimal, which is 16 characters, right? So this addressing mechanism is what is that 32, 64-bit processor and memory and so on, right? Each of it can have zero or one state. That's it. That is how binary works. So you will have to explore all of this. I will not go into more details than this, but I'll just let you know that these kind of things exist. Three main concepts you need to Google: Unicode, or let's say four: ASCII, decimal, and binary. These four are mandatory for you to understand application programming and all these things. Rest of them are optional. So let me add this in the tips today and add it in the links, right? Let's add it in the links tomorrow with tips. So Google Colab. As a minimum, our tips are here. As a minimum, Unicode, ASCII, binary, and decimal. These four terms we need to understand what they are. It is a longer debate. I will just tell you that Unicode assigns one character, or let's say a one unique symbol or character, or let's call it word, or a representation for each character in the world's languages. Almost most languages are covered. So Hindi, English, Punjabi, Japanese, and so on. Most of those languages are covered. And there is a Unicode representation for all parts of it, characters of it, and so on. So that is that. Its precursor was ASCII, which is like your keyboard. So 0 to 9, A to Z, special characters, and so on, but mostly in English. And then there is binary, which I told you, ones and zeros, decimal, which is 0 to 9, right? So these four concepts, I will give you some links tomorrow and videos you need to at least read so that you can program effectively when you face these kind of problems. Okay. So this is related to the size uh, of the value that we are adding into the array, right? Okay, fine. I also want to add one more thing. Uh, so some people like to ask this in interviews. What is the largest value you can store in terms of integers or float in 32-bit addressing system or 64-bit addressing system and such. So such questions are also favorites of um some interviewers. So I'll add it into tip. You will, if you Google it, you will get lot of ideas as to how this is done. Longer debate in terms of calculation, but you should check and do those things. Um, let's see the next example. What is it? So this seems to be there is an array. We are giving it the data type forcefully as float. Second one also as float. And we are doing addition by using the function called as add array1, array2. Then when we do sum, we do the sum of all the array elements. There is a difference between adding two arrays and using, doing a sum of all the elements and so on. And then there is the option of square root of an array. And then there is transpose. Now, these are, again, I'll have to open Notepad or let me discuss. See, arrays and matrices are used a lot in mathematics to solve equations and such things. So there are predefined methods that can be run on them beyond the scope of our today's discussion, but they are like square root, transpose, which means convert columns into rows and so on. In matrix, we do matrix multiplication and so on. So those kind of operations also are inbuilt um into the NumPy library so that we can work with them easily. Let me check some question. Which link we have to open? I will give you the link again. Hold on. It is there in the presentation also. Okay. Yes, Namita, every day I am sharing in the tips file, the presentation, I am sharing the tips. Yes, Shahid, so good point. Code says it is zero, mind says it is one. Yes, so all these concepts that I have explained, it will take some time. Shahid is right. It takes some time to absorb them. You cannot absorb them in just a 15-minute session if I try to give that to you. Okay, so let's run this. So see, our addition of two arrays is 7, 13, 4, and 14. So 7, 13, 4, and 14. Then addition of array elements is 19. Okay, 11 and 2, 13 and 6, 19. Correct. Square root of the array elements. So which one is it doing square root of? Array 1. Array 1 is this one. So 2. This will be 2 2s are 4, 3 3s are 9. So 2 point something. Root of 2. And again 2 point something. Let's see. Yes, so 2, 2.64, 2.44, 1.414, and so on. Then there is transpose, like I was saying, it converts rows into columns and columns into rows. Do not worry if you have not still used it in terms of practical applications, but let me give you an example of where all we use these arrays and matrices and other things. See, we design buildings, right? We design cars. There we have a lot of equations. So many of such equations we simplify and solve using arrays and matrices, right? We must have studied it in 11th, 12th science and so on, right? So that is what it is. Can I get a thumbs up if everybody is with me? Okay. So slowly everybody is absorbing uh, NumPy. What are its uses? Let me see. Good. Abhijit says yes. Let's see few more examples. These are all the functions which are there. Let's go back and see something else. Array creation. Let's see how to copy one NumPy array into another array. So we are creating this array from a list, right? Now again, I will say sometimes they are creating it from a list, sometimes they are creating it from a tuple, sometimes they add two elements to create a kind of like a matrix kind of a structure where two rows and four columns or four rows and four columns are there. Don't try to fight why they are doing it this way. Try to understand the way they are trying to do it rather than um, trying to fight why they have done it this way. Because I see somewhere else in other tutorial it is done in a different way, right? Because our intention is to understand the usage, not to mug up anything, right? That is what I always teach all the students that I work with. Don't mug up anything because mugging up does not help, right? Okay. So here is an array. Uh, First, they are creating an empty array and then they are assigning it like this. Okay, using copy. Okay, copy ke andar they are writing array. So it's almost just is equal to, not much to see this. np.copy function is interesting. That is what is of more use. Let's use this. Right? I told you about this, right? If I do like this, let's say if I add any if or whatever, and I do an indentation that it will throw an error. If you copy paste, you will always be worried why it is happening. But you just remove this and add it here, and then it will start to work, like I told you last time also. So our original array is 1.54, 2.99, and so on, 10.5, 77.5, and so on. And from there, we do copy dot array into a new array and we say np.copy original array and we do print copy and it is exactly the same, right? Simple enough. Let's not see more examples of these simple things. Let's see something more confusing. There is also deep and shallow copy, but we are not seeing it. Combined array index by index. Let's see. Inserting a new axis within a NumPy array. So this is promoting 2D array to 5D array, expand dimensions by 1 and print y. So it becomes 314, axis 1. This one they are converting 5 comma 5 into reshape into 5 and so on. Okay. Then matrix manipulation, right? So let's see matrix manipulation also. Just like arrays, we have matrices, right, which are available to us. Now, how do they work? So there is one fundamental rule which we need to remember. Let me share Paint again. I think most of you would have worked with matrices. So with matrices, we write it like this typically. I can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So this is 2 by 3 matrix. Now here I will write this is 3 by 3. Whenever you want to multiply a matrix, the column of first one should be equal to the row of the second one. Okay. And the answer will be this 2 by 3, row and column, if I remember correctly. Then each of the elements C11 or C00 or whatever, it is actually 11. We multiply the first row with first column, add it and make the first element and so on. So this can also be automated in NumPy. Let's see that. Do they have an example for it? Right. Add, subtract and divide. So let's first do add, subtract and divide, which are the simpler examples. Then we will have multiplication. This one is multiply. Directly it will do. I'll try to add a wrong value in it and try to show you why the rows and columns, if they are not equal, it will throw an error. Okay. Let's run this. What is it? So our first numpy.array is 1, 2, 4, 5. Second one is 7, 8, 9, 10. So 2 by 2. When we do add, it will do an element wise addition. If we do uh, 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 subtract, it will do element wise subtraction and so on, like here. And this is element wise division. Simple enough, doesn't require discussion. Let's see multiplication, which is of more interest to us. Okay, so here that is, we are using the function multiply x comma y. So the answer will be 2 by 2. This is element wise multiplication, sorry, and dot is the product of matrices. So let's see that. So this is 4 plus 18, 9 to the 18. So 4 plus product of matrices is this, and element wise multiplication is this. Okay, here I need to first print it so that I can explain it. Print x, print y. Okay, let's also add some space. Let's also add some space. Okay, so these are our two matrices or arrays or whatever we want to call them, depending on the function we call, the way it will be treated. So 7 into 1, 1, 8 to the 16, 9 4 the 36, 10 5 the 50. How will this one work? So first row and first column. 7 1 the 7, 9 to the 18. What is the total? 25. That is why we get 25 here. That is the matrix multiplication rule that we have. Similarly, all the other elements are also filled up, right? Can I get a thumbs up if we have understood this? I presume most of you have done matrix multiplication. So here, just with a simple function, we are able to do this. Now let's do one thing. Let's add a third dimension here, and it should throw an error hopefully. So 2 rows and 3 columns will not work. So let's just write 5 comma 3. Let's see what happens. See, it threw an error in dot. Operands could not be broadcast together with shapes 3 comma 2, 2 comma 3. So this has 3 rows and 2 columns. Yes, that is why it is having a problem. That's fine. So that is that about NumPy, right? I can keep taking examples from this. Dot product we have already done. Vector multiplication I haven't done. Vectors are, it will be single dimension, either rows or columns or something of that sort. Let's just quickly see single dimension C, right? We won't practice that. If there is something other than this, which is eigenvalues of a matrix, again, like I told you, arrays have their functions, matrix also has its own functions, determinant and all these things, right? Let's see one or two mathematical functions. Math.py, right? So it gives us the pi value. What else have they given? All the others are different. Um, Mostly pi. Then cos. If you remember in matplotlib also, we have used many of these functions, right? But this is uh, around seal, floor. You can also think of those functions. See, so floor and seal are kind of like approximations, right? If I write 4.6, if you want 5, then you will do ceiling. If I write 4.3 and I do a floor, probably it will give you answer as 4, right? So rounding off, like we have in Excel sheet, try and round up, right? Similar to that, all these functions are available. Logarithmic functions, and so on. Add, negative, whatnot, right? So many mathematical functions are available. You can use them in conjunction with NumPy as per your liking. Whether the number is real or not, whether the number is a complex number, right? Many such things are available to you in terms of NumPy. I have still only covered, let's say, 15% of NumPy. There is still more, as you can see, lots and lots of things. That's why I told you, for your interviews and your exams and so on, even if you can practice 30, 40, or 50% of what is given in the Python part of Geeks for Geeks, then also it is good. So I will pause here for 2 minutes. Is everybody understanding what I'm trying to put across? Can I get a thumbs up if people are understanding things? Okay, good, good. Now let's look at our second topic after I take a 1 minute break, right? Just to get a breather. And then we start with pandas. Firstly, why do we need pandas, right? Why do we need this pandas related library, right? So if you want to work with data, right, you want to manipulate data, you want to group data, you want to select data, you want to view, you want to create objects, you want to work with date time, which was Vivek's question continuously, and you want to merge, join, and concatenate and work with CSV and Excel files and so on. All of such things we can do, or at least in that, pandas can help us. So for data science and AI/ML, this is an important library, right? So let's see one by one. Pandas install and all is done for us. Let's directly create a data frame. Now, what is a data frame? Data frame is a two-dimensional, mutable, heterogeneous kind of data structure, right? As we call it. Like you can store a two-dimensional thing, like an Excel sheet, CSV, and so on. CSV is comma separated value. We also have tab separated value and so on. But the famous one is actually comma separated value. Let's also show you how do you create a comma separated value because some of you may not have created it. Just open your notepad. Just open your notepad, type, let's say A, comma, I'm writing my name, Neil, comma, any value, 30, B, comma, Mahesh, comma, 25. Then I'm writing, let's say C, comma, Sanjay, comma, 35. And then I say save. And then I go to desktop. I select all files and I can give it a name, students. When you save it, it gets saved as a CSV. Sorry, did I save it as a text file? My mistake. Make it CSV. Yes. So that's as simple as that, creating a CSV. Once you create it, it will open in Excel sheet also. Let me open it in an Excel sheet. I opened the same thing, CSV here, right? A Neil 30, it automatically picks it up and shows it in an Excel sheet. Obviously, CSV has less features compared to a typical Excel, but still good amount of work is possible, right? It is a simpler type of a format compared to an Excel sheet and so on. Okay, now let's go back to our code. Yes. Okay. So let's create a data frame as simple as pd.dataframe and pass whatever list you want to pass and it will create. So let's see that. Let's go to our home page. Let's click on Python 3. Let's give it the name pandas and write import pandas as PD list of strings. And just you have to write pd.dataframe lst and type printf. Let's see what it does for us. See, it has created. Okay. It has stored it in a data frame. Data frame is two-dimensional. Here we have one dimension. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, so it has created. Let's see more examples. Here we have two dimensions, name and two columns actually. By default, it gives its own indexes for the rows. We haven't given it, but it is giving. We are giving it a name. We are using the same concept of using uh, the square bracket for list, right? That is what we are using and we are creating. You can also create this from read.csv, which we will see in some time, which was a question of few of the people, right? Now here we are adding name, age, address, and qualification and storing it and creating a pd.data frame. And then we are only taking out name and qualification. Instead of all the values, we are just using this much. So see this. Now I will also do a print tf. So it will print everything. So let's give some empty space. See this. So this is taking it out by a specific column, whereas this is the full thing, print tf, right? Can I get a thumbs up if everybody is understanding? Can some of you put into chat why would we use this? Why name is pandas? So uh, Namita asks why the name is pandas. I do not know to be true. Let me search it now. Pandas is for data manipulation, Namita. NumPy is for numerical Python. Same way pandas is for data manipulation. You use data frames and work with it. Panel data. Okay. So it is panel data. That's why it's two-dimensional data frame. We manipulate data with it. I will remember that. It is panel data. Okay, good search. I tend to remember it for data manipulation or data modification as per the requirement, right? Okay. Let's see more examples. Now we are going to read a CSV. I'll first need the CSV. Here is the CSV. Let me download it and let me upload it into my folder. My NumPy and pandas are here. So let me upload NBA. I have uploaded it. Let's now run it as it is in the same folder. Index column is equal to name. I'll tell you in a minute. Then we do data.locate, retrieving row by LOC method, specific name. Let's first print the whole thing. And let's also see the file because we haven't seen the file. Let me open the file and let's all of us see that. So this is your file. Is everybody able to view it? Quick thumbs up for people who are able to see it. Okay. So we seem to be having columns like name, team, number, position, age, height, weight, college, salary. NBA is National Basketball Association, I presume, from US. And they have about 458 entries approximately. Okay. They have about 458 entries. So now that we understand the Excel sheet, let's switch to our code again and see what they are doing. Let's try and understand it. That is my code. Yes. So first we do pd.read.csv, which was a question earlier also, right? And let's print it also. I think view it will not, right? Let's do print data, right? And we try to locate specific values first and second. And it gives us here. Let's remove everything else. This is the data for Avery Bradley. This is the data for RJ Hunter. All the columns that we had in the Excel sheet. We have used the function locate, right? That is what it is. Can I get a thumbs up if read.csv is clear to everyone? Is everybody understanding read.csv? We are reading a CSV here. Let me also see if there are any questions. So there are head and tail function, Shahid, that also we can use. I'm using it a lot in R. Can you please share this CSV file? Yes, it is on the same link. Let me see if I can. DF is just the alias we are using for. Okay, let me show you. Where was the DF? Okay, here it is. So one of the students, Satish, is asking, what does DF do? So DF is our handle, or let's say the object that we are creating for a data frame. It is not necessary to give it DF name. I can make it DF2. That is also possible. We are just giving it a name DF and writing pd.dataframe data print DF. That's all. It's a handle. It's an object. Got it, Satish? You want to see the read.csv again? Okay. Yes. So Sheikh, please use Geeks for Geeks only. Very good links there. And let me show you read.csv in a minute. Let me take one or two more examples. Okay, let's pick up one more example for read.csv so that you can understand. It is the same Excel, but we are retrieving column here. So what are we doing? We are using the function called as read.csv. Pandas, we have given it an alias called as pd, and we are saying pd.read.csv, and we are saying nba.csv. CSV file I have picked up from here only. If you see this, they have given the nba.csv here, right? Okay. Now let's pick up a specific column. See the usage. Data and the slicing type operation, we are picking up the column of age. Here we were picking up data.loc, locate, right? So let's see this, what it does for us. It picks up age, right? There are 458 entries. It has picked up some samples. Okay. Do we understand read.csv now? Reading from the CSV. Let me also show you the CSV again. It looks like this. So everybody is able to understand the CSV. Rajeshwar and others. Okay. Okay. See, you will have to practice all this, huh? Otherwise it will not run. I am telling you to again and again to practice, because unless you practice, this understanding will not develop. Working with missing data. Let's not worry about imputation right now. Let's work with drop NA. There is no dropping in this. Yes, here it is. I think this is a mistake. See, I keep telling you, right? There are mistakes on Geeks for Geeks also. I don't know, right? Directly writing DF will drop it. I am not sure. It won't. Drop NA will drop it. So np.nan means null, right? Nothing is there. So we are forcefully introducing empty values into three of the rows. Okay. And what we are doing is we say drop NA means drop the rows with empty values. So let's print df space. So print again and see. See the empty values, right? And here it tells us where we are. At least one non-value, right? That is what it is doing. So only this one will remain. That is what it prints. 95, 56, 98, 65. Let's go back. 95. So only and only 95, 56, 98, and 65. This one remains, right? Because rest all have some or the other null value and it drops them. Okay. So that is your some amount of pandas. Let's see some more complicated examples. Removing white spaces. By the way, you can read .csv from the internet also. Huh? You give a path of a CSV, it will read. Should I show it to you? Let's do a Google dataset search. I'm just writing anything. economics CSV. I want a link. Let me directly also. So if you suppose find an if you find a CSV here, right, whatever the case may be, if you pick up the link, right, whatever the link may be, here it is CSV. Just copy the link, and in this, if you add read.csv and that link, it should most likely work. Let's see. Import pandas as PD. If the link is right, it will work. If the link is wrong, it won't work. So let's just wait for a minute and see. I hope it is not too large. What is it saying? Forbidden. Let's put the whole link. Let's see. So codec issues. That is fine. But you got my point, right? I can change the codec, but the point is you can directly download from the internet as well using this link, using this function HTTP, sorry, read.csv. I've downloaded many files like this. Let me see if some simple file is available. Let's first open it and see. Okay. Okay. So this way we can download and work with it, right? A lot of CSVs are available on the internet. You can pick them up and work with them. Okay. So try that out. Let's go back to our examples. Let's work on operations, selecting, dealing with rows and columns. Okay. Let's work with rows and columns. This is done. Let's try this. So here what we are doing, first we are creating a CSV. From here we are dropping team and weight, right? And then printing it. Let's see what it does. Let's also print before dropping. So before this, we also have team and weight. Here, team and weight is gone. Why? Because what we have done is we have used a function called as drop, right? We have used a function called as drop, right? Let's see more examples. Locate is something that is done. Concat, drop by values, it's fine. Dropping values is done. Okay. Let's add a new column. So this is adding a new column. Right? So here we are creating a data frame by giving it name, height, and qualification. Are you seeing the differences? Somewhere we are using a list. Here we are using a dictionary. In curly brackets, when you work with it, it becomes a dictionary. So we are adding, by the way, are you all observing how flexible Python is? Somewhere we are creating a data frame from a dictionary. Somewhere we are creating it from a list. Somewhere we are using arrays inside lists or lists inside arrays. Are you seeing all these things that are happening? Because I am explaining, you may or may not have realized it, but all this flexibility is inbuilt into Java. Where can we get the data set to work on, Anuradha? It is in the beginning of the pandas file. No. It is not inbuilt data set. Data set we have taken from here, NBA. It is available on Geeks for Geeks only. See here in the beginning. If you start with the pandas tutorial, you will get NBA data set in one of the first tutorials. See here. See here. Do you see this? Let me give you the page in the chat. Yes, I will upload the code, Charya. Today, whatever code we are working on, I will upload it tomorrow into LMS via Amar or the team. Okay. You can get the NBA dataset from here. Now, coming back to our example, we have name, height, qualification, we convert it. Then we have this address which is declared. And let's see the result. Name, height, qualification, and address that is added. Do you see this? Now, this is common with R and Python both. One thing that you need to remember, I tend to teach it another tip. So today is only two tips, but one more tip. Not always, but many times, or let's say many times, if you write um, square brackets on the left side of assignment operator, it will add that as a column. If you write it on the right side, it will do slicing operation. What does it mean? So it means this. See here, we are writing address here. So it creates a column of that type here. And I am passing this whole list here. And it just creates this, right? But if I write something like data name is equal to data2, now it will extract and do slicing. Let's do print data2. So you see where you write the square bracket matters. See this? It has extracted only the names. Are you seeing this, all of you? This tip, square bracket on the right side will do slicing. On the left side, our left, not the screen's left or right, our left, it will create a new column like here. Our right, it will do slicing operation like this. Let me also add it here. So that's how it is. Yes, Namita, column name. Did everybody understand this tip? Can I get a thumbs up, those who have understood? Only few have raised. Okay. So we will stop with NumPy and Pandas here and now see some amount of SQL. Okay. Let's see SQL now. So this is one of the simplest and best tutorials for SQL, right? w3schools.com/SQL. Reason being they have their try it yourself kit as well, right? So we'll start with customers. Customers is a table that is given to us. If you run the SQL, you will see the table like this. Like I was discussing, think of RDBMS as joined worksheets, right? They are worksheets which are joined together. The first worksheet that we are going to see is customers. Customers as what? Customer ID, customer name, contact name, address, city, postal code, and country, just like our Excel sheet or CSV. If we write select star from customers, which means select something for me and come back. Star means give me everything from whatever table you want values from. So select star from customers. I can also write where name is equal to, it is actually customer name, is equal to, and it will give you that one line. Do you see this, all of you? That is the simplest of the commands for us in SQL. SQL is used to access databases, RDBMSs typically. There are all these commands that are available for us. Right? All these commands that are available for us. Correct? Okay. So select distinct, where, and or not, order by, insert into, update, delete, select top, min max, and so on. There are so many SQL commands which are available to work with database. So let's one by one see that. Let me share that one screen. Okay. So we have seen select. Let's see the next one. Select distinct. Get me distinct values from the database or get me specific um, columns from the database table. So I can write select country from customers. I'm getting all the countries. Let me again show you the difference. Select star means get me everything. Customer ID, customer name, contact name, address, city, postal code, and country. Right? Like this. I can write city also. Like this. Did everybody understand the basic select command? At least the first part of it? Just like our Excel sheets, we have RDBMSs. In RDBMSs, we have tables which are comparable to worksheets. I always use these analogies. You can use select command to read from it. Got it, everyone? We'll see few more commands today. Select distinct country, which means get me, it gives you 21 entries of 21 countries in this. If you don't do distinct, you will get all the answers, which are 91. I think the same will come for star, unless there is an empty value, 91, right? So we have 91 values for rows here, all these. Got it? Now, distinct is something that is done. Let's see where. I used where briefly, but basically you want to qualify the select and work with it. Select star from customers where country is equal to Mexico, right? Select star from customers where country is equal to Mexico. So we say all the rows which have Mexico as the country, please show that to me. So there are 5 rows like this out of 91 where the country Mexico is present. Got it, everyone? How does where work? Is everyone with me on SQL? Simple enough, right? Not very complicated. Lot of questions. Data they have stored in the backend in a database, Kamal. And or and not, this was the reason I taught you these 3 in truth table in the beginning, right? You want to check specific conditions like country is equal to Germany and city is equal to Berlin. And means both conditions have to be true. Then only you will get an answer. So for that, we get only one answer, right? We get only one answer where the city is Berlin and country is this. Correct? Similarly, or this will give you a bigger number. City is Berlin or city is München. So there are 2. I can also do like this and increase the count by a large number by saying or country is equal to Germany. Now we have 11 records. All the countries with Germany will open up here. Even if I remove this, the answer will be same because Germany is a superset of the countries. Do you see this? And or and not. Let's see not where country is not Germany. So 11 out of 91 were Germany. So this answer should be 80. See, it's 80, right? All the other countries. Correct? You can combine and or and not using round brackets. So select star from customers where country is equal to Germany and one of the two cities, right? So the two cities. Can I get a thumbs up if people are understanding all these points? If anybody is confused, please put it in the chat box. Okay, so what is the difference between keys? Good question. So Meghna, let us open the example that we were using yesterday. Let's say I have three tables in my RDBMS. The name of the database is, let's say, students. This one is grades. This is fees. This is personal details. I'm going to call it PID. Age, gender, phone, email, and roll number. Obviously, I also need name, roll number. This roll number becomes your primary key here. Okay. Primary keys have to be unique and non-null. Okay. Unique and non-null. Your roll numbers are added here. They primary keys go and connect with any foreign key. It can, right? But what you need to remember, you form relationships like this. That is why it is called as RDBMS. These tables can also be represented as entities. You first build entities by entity relationship diagram, and then you build out the tables. Each of the column has a data type. Roll number will be alphanumeric, so it will be string or characters. Phone number will be integer. Age will be integer. Email will be alphanumeric, so string or character as we call it, and so on. Right? So primary keys are unique and not null. They go and form relationships with foreign keys in other tables. And that is how the whole relationship flows. In your college, throughout your 2, 3, 4, or 5 years, depending on the course that you are doing, um, your primary key will always be, and the master key will be um, your roll number, because it is unique across the year, across the students, right? Yes, Mohammed, we can arrange data in order in RDBMS. That is very much possible. It is up to us to do sorting. There is order by which we can take out content and do the ordering, right? Did everybody understand the primary foreign key and the concept of relationships and entities in a database? Yes, can I get a thumbs up if you have understood that roll number is your primary key, unique and not null? Okay. Let's go back. By the way, these are your tables on the left side that they have created in your database. So and or not, you can also use not. So not country Germany and not country USA. So all countries other than Germany and USA are 67, right? So Germany was 11. So can you answer how many would be USA? 13, right? And so on. This is order by. When you are taking out content, you want to order it based on some column, let's say by country. So we have ordered it by country. A to Z. Got it? You can also use descending, which means start at from Z. So Venezuela, XYZ, UVW, XYZ. So it starts with P and go up till A, goes up till A. You can do a double order by. Now, this will slightly confuse everyone because it always confuses people who are starting out with. This also is done in pandas and other languages as well, Python and else. So when you do a double sorting or let's say double order by country and customer name, first Argentina will come, then customer name will also get ordered. So for these three, instead of these being jumbled up, it will order second order by these three values. So you see A, B, C, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, like this. Got my point? Slightly confusing to understand, but if I have some larger one like Brazil, let's see. So Brazil has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 entries, right? So in the 9 entries, it will then go and sort over customer name only for those 9 entries, right? After W, you are seeing B and so on. Got it? Sir, in SQL, this concept is similar with structures in C. I don't know, Sadat Fatima, whether I can say that. In what sense? Maybe you are making some connection which I am not able to see. Is my voice not clear? Ikra is saying for everybody else, is it clear? Okay. Then we have insert. Okay. We want to insert specific values into columns. That is possible. Insert into customers and whatever columns you want to enter, you enter values, the exact values. Now we have added one value and you see the value has increased from 92 to 91 to 92, right? Similarly, we have null values, update, where you have specific values, you simply want to update them. Delete, select top, minimum and maximum, and so on. So I will stop here and take any questions. And after 5-10 minutes, I will log off and Amar will manage the attendance and so on. So this is where we close Python. In the sense, remaining course is also on Python, but the Python basics we close here. Okay, so everybody please, how do we join two tables? There is something called as a join, outer join, inner join, right join, left join, and so on. There are different types of joins. We are not discussing them, but 2, 3 major types of joins are there where you can join the tables. Meghna, is SQL better than Excel? See, Excel has its own use. SQL and RDBMS are for much larger purposes. Like suppose you can store 10,000, 1 million records in an Excel sheet or CSV. In database, you can store lot much more and you get lot many more features. Lot many more features compared to Excel at times. Although Excel is also very powerful, but database is like enterprise grade for a lot of features. It's difficult, even people have done that, but it's difficult like to run a very heavy site on it. Excel sheets I have covered yesterday. NumPy also I have given today. Okay, so good question. What's the difference, Shahid asks, between SQL and Python? Python is more of application programming. You can build websites using it. You can do analytics. You can do AI/ML. You can do supply chain and so on. Whereas SQL is specific to databases, and that to RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. Does that answer your question, Shahid? Thank you, Ikrat. I am showing you from Geeks for Geeks, and it is given in the presentation today in LMS and W3 schools. Roshan. How do we remove duplicates in SQL? One way is to use distinct, right? You can try and do that. We start with machine learning and deep learning 2 days later, to 1 day or 2 day later. We do statistics next, then we will do machine learning. Thank you, Meghna. Venki asks, is it important to learn SQL or Python? I would suggest learn both in data science and AI/ML. What is difference between data analyst and data scientist? Um, Data scientist works on the mathematics, technical, computer science, and the functional areas all. Data analyst works more on the business and the functional angle, which is domain. Yes, it will be stored in Fatima. It will be stored in LMS. You can watch it again. Yes, Fatima, slowly the complexity is increasing for our lectures. So it might somewhat um, challenge you, but see the video 2, 3 times, discuss, surf the links that I have given and so on, and slowly it will become clear. Okay. So questions have ended here. Must to learn in data science, Ikrat. I would say at least learn Python and R, at least these two, and SQL, obviously. For business analyst, you need to know pre-sales, you need to know documentation, functional, some domain, um, interviewing techniques, workshops, and so on. Such things are required. Why we prefer Java? So Sandeep asks me why we prefer Java instead of why we prefer Python instead of Java. So these days people like Python. Um, when I started out, there was PHP, ASP, and so on. And then I worked on Java for 14, 16 years. In between, all Python and all has come. Probably everybody likes it because it is very flexible. You don't need to learn many internal details of the language. There are 2, 3 ways of doing the same thing. So it's very flexible from person to person. I think that is the reason people like it a lot. Yes, it's easy, Namita. You are right. See how much time to start after your engineering MSc, MCA, BCA, BBA, or MBA. 6 months of working hard will get you to a data analyst or a data scientist, but to really excel in this, you need at least 2, 3, 4 years of effort after joining a job. Yes, Namita, it's like English. Names is printed because we had selected index column is equal to name. Rajeshwar. Which is efficient. I think SQL will be more efficient because it is native to a database. Python is a much larger language. Time complexity, does it affect Python? I don't think I understand the question. I understand time complexity. Time complexity affects all algorithms and programs, right? We calculate it for all of it. Yeah, tomorrow we will see statistics. Okay. So that's it. Amar, you can take over.
Yeah, tomorrow we don't have session, guys. So our next session is on Monday.
Tomorrow. Yes, Monday. Monday. Correct. Correct. Monday. Sorry.
So guys, I already shared the attendance link in the chat box. Please mark your attendance. Yes, Johns, I shared that. Guys, if you have any query or question, you can drop in the chat box or else you can leave the session. And didn't registration still have attended the session till today? Can I still get the certificate for the ExcelR program? Suvarna, definitely you will get the certificate, but thing is that when you are going to refer the material and recordings, now you are not able to find that. That's why. So look, this course is for 15 days, 30 hours, 2 hours per day, Monday to Friday. Fatima, yes, definitely. We'll plan for the same. Yeah, thank you guys. Yesterday I joined the class, sir, but I was unable to fill attendance of yesterday class. Can I get again? No, Meghna, the attendance is open between 8:30 to 9:30. You need to fill between that time. It's not possible to share it today. 60% attendance is mandatory to get the certificates, guys. No, Rajeshwar, it's not possible at all. I log in to forward the attendance cause of making dinner. Abhimanyu, you need to take care of that. I am not able to help you on this. Pratik, there is no any WhatsApp group. Fatima, you can report the recordings. Watch recording one more time, then you will get the perfect idea, okay? Ananya is saying, sir, I didn't get the link for the attendance sheet. Ananya, how it's possible? I am sharing with you. You're welcome, Fatima. Guys, I'm sharing the attendance thing in the chat box once again with all of you. Please mark your attendance. Anything else, guys? Oh, no, sir, I don't get previous course certificates and mail is also facing difficulty to reach to team of ExcelR and recognition are not seen to me. Roshni, if you're facing any difficulty, okay, I'm sharing my number with you. So please do one thing, drop me a WhatsApp message. I will check with him, okay? Yes, Fatima, you can leave the session. Sir, can we ask concept related doubts on email? Yes, you can. Try to ask to Neil, sir. If not possible, then you can drop an email, okay? Rajeshwar, clear? Yeah, share Snail. Guys, anything else? Tomorrow we don't have session, so we'll meet you on Monday at 7 o'clock. Tejarani 11 to 12. Divya, I shared the attendance link with you. Just a minute, I'm sharing again. Thevas Das, nice session. Thank you. You're welcome. YouTube guys, do you have any query or question? Saurav is saying nice classes. Thank you, Saurav. Do we have session on Sunday? No, which one? Are? Saturday, Sunday, there is no any sessions. Session is only on Monday to Friday, weekdays, okay? I have missed my earlier session due to my health issue. Will you help me out on the same? So Dakshita, I would like to refer you that please watch the recordings via LMS. Suresh is asking for attendance. You're welcome, Rajeshwar. You're welcome, Dakshita. Are the recorded videos last for many days or they expired? So recorded sessions are available for lifetime. I have also missed the previous two sessions yesterday and day before due to network issue, but I heard session later on. It was helpful. That's great, Vishwanath. So Satish is asking when will be the assessment. So Satish, there is no any assessment. We are sharing assignment just for your practice purpose. Okay. Sheetal, yeah, shared. Yeah, Ikra, if you don't have any query or question, you can leave the meeting. Sir, can you please send the attendance link, sir, if possible? Yeah, Laksh, I'm sharing. You're welcome, Laksh. Guys, any question? Lots of people have only one question. Sir, please share the attendance link. Okay, guys, I think question. Yes, Sushil. By the way, attendance is mandatory. Yes, yes. Yeah, and by the way, I'm sharing as well. I think we're done with the questions. So guys, thank you so much for joining the session. Saurabh, I was not able to attend first lecture. So Saurabh, watch the recordings over LMS due to my job. Oh, you are doing job, great. Bye sir, bye bye, good night. Saurabh, at least 11 to 12. Ayushi, bye. Anup is saying chat not showing. Thank you for valuable classes for us because Python is very useful to me. Sharifa, thank you. Very useful classes, Saurabh. Thank you. Ayushi, thank you. Welcome, Ayushi. So bye guys, happy weekend. Do a practicing. Do practice watch record sessions on LMS. And if you're facing any difficulty, then you can ask on Monday to Neil sir. Okay. So we'll wind up the session for today. Happy weekend. We'll meet you on Monday. Bye team. Thank you so much.